wake up each day. Your laughter lingers in every ray.
Unstoppable with Dr. Paulette Scott, where faith, healing, growth take root. I'm your host, Dr. Paulette Scott. I am a widow, mother, grandmother, author, digital entrepreneur, respiratory therapist. This podcast was created for anyone who's rebuilding, rediscovering, or simply learning to live again after life's hardest moments. This podcast is dedicated to the love of my life, the memory of my best friend, my husband, my prayer warrior, my prayer partner, and my life partner. Each week, we'll dig into stories of resilience, business, healing, and faith, all designed to help you grow through what you go through. Life will try to break you. Trust me, I know. I've been through it. I know it all too well because it tried to break me. I lost my husband, my best friend, and the foundation of my world, but I refuse to stay down. Unstoppable is more than a podcast, it's a movement. I created it alongside my business rooted in growth. The mission of this show is to show us where faith meets resilience, where struggling transforms into strength, and where we plant the seeds of legacy that outlive. This episode is incredibly special. We are joined by an extraordinary woman whose compassion, wisdom, and clinical expertise has helped countless individual couples and families find healing. And she also has poured into my own healing journey. After the loss of my husband, family helped me welcome the incredible Fleshia Smalls, MSW, LCSW social worker. I just had to get all those initials in there, Fleshia. I am so glad you're here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It is a personal pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. And family, I don't want to I'd be remiss to not mention Miss Fleshia is a clinical social worker with more than 25 years of experience servicing communities across North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, right, Fleshia?
Yes.
It's so many children, teens, adults, families through trauma, grief, major life transitions, mental health challenges, crisis. Fleshia, you do it all. She previously a mental health clinician for Guilford County Schools, right? Am I correct? This is amazing. You're an amazing lady. And I am so glad to have you here to share with everybody, like not only my journey that I've taken on and you are constantly helping me get through it, which is why I have the strength to do this podcast. May I add to that? That is because of you giving me the encouragement to continue to allow my pain to be my purpose. I thank you so much for that. And I just want to kind of get into, Fleshia, if you could a little bit just share with us about what it is your practice you do and within the community. What all are you doing right now?
Okay. I have a private practice and I serve individuals, adolescents, children, seniors, couples, families. I do it all. And usually therapists have a niche or they have what they call their favorite. And I think all the above are my favorite. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own story. And I am blessed and fortunate to be a part of it, to be allowed to be a
Yes.
part of it. So I work with a plethora of people and I enjoy each and every one that I work with. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. And you've been doing this
I've been in the field for 25 years. I've been doing individual therapy since 2010.
Yeah.
I've worked in the field of social services. I've worked in group homes. I've worked in Department of Social Services. I've worked with adoptions and foster care. I worked with public assistance and Medicaid and food stamps when food stamps was still a stamp. I've worked
Wow.
all the way through the system. Yes, absolutely.
Wow. That is amazing. So
Yeah.
your work as a licensed clinical social worker is rooted in a mission of connection, foster resilience, and hope through Grace for Today's counseling and community services. What is the single foundation or purpose, I should say, that guides your practice? And what does the name Grace for Today signify about your approach to helping people?
Well, that was one of the hardest things to come up with, the name of my practice. And it took a while. And it took family, it took friends, everybody had their say and input. And I finally I said, first of all, I want people to have grace for them because we don't usually have a lot of grace for ourselves. The people we love, the people we care about, we give them so much grace and ourselves, not so much. So one of the things I wanted to concentrate on is having grace for ourselves, but also to have grace for today. Tomorrow is not promised, as we know. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And yesterday is no longer here. We can't change it. We can't go back and do things we wish we could. We only have today. And I want people to understand that today is what's important. We have to live for today and we have to give ourselves grace because we're not perfect. We all fall short. So give yourself grace, live for today. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Let's concentrate on what we can do with today. And that's where the name came from. Yes.
Wow, and that's powerful. I love how you remind us too. Today is what we focus on because we can't go
Yes.
back to yesterday, and
You
tomorrow
cannot.
ain't here yet. And I love that. Thank you. That just gave me a sense of peace too for me for right now with everything I've been going through. Just focus on today, Paulette.
Yes.
Thank you.
Day by day, day by day. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm gonna kind of get in this topic that I love. It's called the defining loss and the gardener's insight. As you know, the podcast bring in my gardening, my love for gardening, along with, my pain from the loss of my husband and just all the life challenges. But this one, you've walked alongside countless clients navigating life's challenges. We know that loss can be anything from a loved one, a relationship, sense of self, or even a career setback. Can you share a moment of profound personal loss that triggered deep grief for you?
I can. I can. And on August 28th, 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, I lost my dad. It was a sudden loss and it was extremely, extremely hard for me because now the teacher has to walk in her lessons, right? Because that was
Yeah.
something that hit so hard. The whole family hard, but my father was the captain of the ship. You know what I mean? He was the one that held it together. Losing him was, and still is such a pain point in my life. And I struggled to listen and to remember everything that I had been taught, that I had learned, that I was teaching others because I was in it's unfair. I don't like it. I want them back. That whole fight I was in. And I had to do what I tell everybody to do. I had to breathe. I had to sit in my emotions and I had to breathe. And that's hard. That is so hard.
Yeah.
And it was hard. And it still gets hard 5 years later, right? It's still
Yeah.
sometimes, the memories and the longing and the wanting gets hard. But I have to do what I tell everybody else to do. I have to breathe. I have to sit. I have to journal. I have to talk about it. I can't suppress it. I can't keep it inside. I have to let it out. I have to let it out. And I'd like to say I've successfully been dealing with it. It is a journey that may never have an end. It's just a journey. You journey through life without the person that meant a lot to you. And
Yeah.
it's a different walk. It's definitely a different walk.
Wow. Yeah. And that is one thing I remember you encouraged me to do my journaling and even write my husband a letter, which was powerful. I wrote the letter and it's in an envelope. I've read it to him before I put it in an envelope. I think do you find when you discovered your process to help you get through it, did you find yourself, because you said it, you kind of already alluded to it, you said here the teacher is now the student, and you found yourself struggling a little bit, right, trying to get yourself to at least talk about it, right, because that was
Yes,
hard for me to share what I really felt deep inside because I wasn't sure what I was feeling too. And
absolutely. It's hard.
yeah, yeah. And what do you say to somebody that does struggle to talk about how they feel because they're not sure what they feel after a loss of somebody that they love so much, or a loss of self, or a loss of things, or.
Mhm. It's definitely difficult, especially because we're not used to sharing a lot. You know, we go through things and we keep it to ourselves, and we try to handle things on our own. And I will, if I'm the first to say it, that's okay. That's not good. Keeping things to ourselves, keeping things down, pushing things down. We have to let it out. We have to let it out. And if we don't have anyone to let it out to, then let's write about it. Let's journal.
Amen.
Let's get it out some kind of way. You have to you have to have an outlet, because if you don't have an outlet and you suppress all these things, it's going to come out. It's going to come out, and it's
Hmm.
going to come out when we don't want it to come out, more than likely, and it's going to come out as extreme hurt or extreme anger. So before that happens, we have to let it out in a healthy way. And
Right.
therapy is one of the healthiest ways that I know. You have someone that is non-judgmental. You have someone that can help you navigate what you're going through or what you may go through. You have someone that has the ability to help you gain coping skills to deal with what you're
Yeah.
dealing with. And sometimes just to listen, just to listen to what you are feeling, what you are saying, and to let you know that this is not an abnormality. This is not, you're human. And these are feelings that you're going to feel, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm thinking I'm gonna move a little bit into the spiritual foundation of cultivating change. So that the concept of grace is inherently spiritual. When you were in the midst of your own healing or when guiding clients towards meaningful change, what role does putting God first or your personal spiritual journey play in the
Yeah.
process?
Okay. God is first and foremost in my life. And even choosing a name for my practice was a little difficult, but I said, you know what? Not ashamed,
Yes.
not gonna kind of fall back. And it's important to me. Now, I don't force people to believe. I don't force my religion on anybody. In my practice, I serve those that are Christian and those that are other religions, or some people that I serve are atheists. And again, I don't force anything on them, but he's a part of me. He's a part of who I am, and he will not be denied, not by me. He will not be denied. So he kind of leads in what I do. He's the reason that I do what I do. This is my purpose. People search for a purpose in life, and why am I here, and what am I supposed to do? And this is my purpose. I am here to do exactly what I do on a daily basis. And I see that, I feel it. Other people that I work with, they feel it. I have people that have come across my Psychology Today profile and said, I don't know what it is, but I was drawn to you and I feel like I'm supposed to be here. And I
Yeah.
believe that. I absolutely believe
Yes.
that. And through the work that we're able to do, yes, you were supposed to be here. And that
Yeah.
is, I find that if you walk in your purpose, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong.
Absolutely. And I specifically in my search I wanted somebody who believed and had a faith. And so
Okay.
when it pulled up the list, you were in there. So you definitely do not deny that you have a faith and you have,
Absolutely.
I had to have that because I had to have someone that was going to help me through my journey, understand my love for God and my faith is what's going to carry me through with it and be, not someone that didn't understand where I was at with it, and
Okay.
I don't have nothing
Mm.
against anyone. I would
Mhm.
hope my podcast serve everybody, no matter if they're atheists, no matter if, what we got the non-denomination where you don't identify with any type of religion or any religion. And so, but for me, that was my number one most important find is that whoever I was going to help me through my process. And I prayed on it and I just asked God because I had a full list and I went
Okay.
through my list and you were the one that came to my spirit. And so I called
Yes, you
just
did.
so that
Yes.
he is working in the realm of your putting you in the lives of the people of his children too, because he led me to you. And would you say what specific spiritual practices or mindset allows you to maintain your focus and cultivate hope for future?
You know, my prayer life is huge. And it's not only my prayer life, because prayer is sort of asking and desiring, but my conversations that I have, it's just whether it's in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I want to talk to him. I want to build relationship with him. I want him to know what's going on. I know he knows, but I want to tell him. I want to tell him
Yeah.
what's going on with me and what my thoughts are, what my feelings are. I and I think sometimes people lose that sense of relationship with him. We are in relationship with him. We should be. It shouldn't be just prayers. It should be conversation. It should be, this is where I'm at. And, it's not a good space. It's not a good space. I realize that I'm working on it. I'm trying. And yes, the prayer that, yes, I need you. I need you. I need you to do all the things that you do and then some. But I need you to know that I'm working toward that. I'm have clients that I pray with because that's something that they need, that's something that they want, that's something that they ask for. I've had clients that have prayed over me, so
Yes.
it is. Yes, it is have in my clients. I see some people from all walks of life. I've seen pastors, I've seen first ladies, I've seen, deacons, I've seen a lot of people in the church. And this is something that it's like it's a partnership. We're working together for the good of the Lord. And that's a part that I appreciate. I appreciate being in partnership with people that feel the same way I do.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Wow, that's powerful. Many people feel paralyzed by grief, would you say? And
absolutely.
in the context of your work, providing direct therapy and trauma informed care, what is one intentional, practical step you recommend a listener take to stay motivated and pursue their life's desires, even when it feels difficult?
Okay. Take your I'm going to take your question seriously, and I am going to give you an answer first and then another answer. But
Okay.
the first thing you need to do is breathe. Take a moment. Just when all the thoughts are there, when all the things are going on, and so many things will go on when you lose somebody, when you lose, like you said, a job, a relationship, so many things are going through your mind at one time, and you are everywhere and then some. Just stop and breathe. There's a thing called square breathing or box breathing, and it's where you basically inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold that for 4 seconds. And sometimes doing something that you have to count, something that you purposely have to do, helps you focus, and it helps you get to a place where you can say, okay, now my mind is a little quieter, I'm in a little quieter space, I can do better now. The second answer, that's in the moment, that's helping you just and whenever you feel, whether you're out in, this is something you can do out in public, you can do at work, you can do at school, you can do anywhere. Nobody has to know what you're doing. You're just doing it to ground yourself. And the second thing I'm really big on, as you know, is journaling. It is a safe place to get out your feelings. And it is wonderful to be able to go back and look at where you were at that time and where you are now. Because, like I said, it's a journey. So, immediately after your loss, you're going to be in a place you've never been before. You're navigating life like you've never had to navigate it before. You're trying to get used to a new normal. So, a year from now, you're not going to be in that same place, and you're going to be able to go back and see that person, to see who you were then. And it's amazing. We need to see the transformation. We need to see the journey. Because though we may not be where we want to be, we're not where we used to be. And
Yes.
sometimes you have to go back to see that. You have to absolutely go back to see how much you've grown, how far you've gone, and to give yourself some love for that, to give yourself some appreciation for what you've done, and not be so worried about what you have yet to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is so awesome. It's just giving me a sense of calmness too today. And I needed this in my life today. And I hope the listeners, I
Okay.
hope all of you are really getting a sense of, being able to find a way through this today as you're listening to Felicia, because this is like getting that short, or should I say just a small snippet of what a good therapist, grieving counselor can do for you. So please make sure you guys also get your pen and paper, because we're going to tell you how to reach her when we're all done with this before she leaves us. Not only that, you will absolutely be able to find her contact information on Unstoppable website. Okay. So you'll be able to reach her. So Felicia, the enduring harvest, purpose for pain is our next topic. So we're looking across your career in the vital mission of Grace for Today counseling. What is the single most important lesson you would share with our listeners about how they can use empathy, culture sensitivity, and self-compassion to turn their weeds of grief, there's that gardening word, into an enduring garden of purpose, and to live their lives
Wow.
with absolute conviction?
Love that. I love the question. I love all the context in it. And the one thing that I say, and it's a big part of my practice, it's a big part of who I am, is we have to show ourselves grace. We have to show ourselves grace. We pour into so many people. We pour into so many things. And some of us, a lot of us, are pouring from an empty cup. Or there's nothing there. And for us to do all the things that you mentioned, all the things that you said, we have to have the ability to pour into others, to go to work every morning and do what we need to do to take care of the kids, to take care of our families, to go grocery shopping. We have to have the wherewithal to do that. And to do that, yes, we love for other people to pour into us. That's wonderful. But the most important is for us pouring into ourselves. We have to pour into ourselves. We have to find the things, the people that make us smile, that make us feel good, that fill us up. And so many of us are so caught up in life because, as my students say, life be lifing.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to do that on a daily basis, but we have to be intentional and we have to look for ways to pour into ourselves. We have to look for things for us to do. We have to look for it can be taking time out to color. They have the adult coloring books. It can be taking a walk. I have so many people that I work with that work from home, and some of them don't see the light of day. They wake up, they go to work, they, finish work and they're still in the house. And I'm like, take your breaks, take lunchtime, go outside, see the sun, take a walk around the neighborhood, do something that pours energy into you. Work cannot be our life. It cannot. It sustains us, but it is a resource. It is not the source. We have to know that. We have to know work-life balance is real and we need our life to be balanced. We need our life to be balanced and we need us to be filled. And that's really like my main one of the things that I teach, that I coach, that I make sure that people understand, because some people come to me and they are so depleted. They are so very depleted. And I want them to be filled, and I don't want them to depend on others to fill them up. I want us to be able to fill ourselves because we have to be able to.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you,
Mhm.
just another question I had, because I'm just thinking, so many of us have suffered griefs, and so many, I can imagine there's not a human being alive that haven't experienced some grief, regardless of what that loss may have been or what they've been through in their life. How does a person, is there like signs or that the family can be aware of, just to identify, hey, maybe they are going through a grief and need help?
I think the signs are different for different people because we're all different. How we experience things are different. You might have someone that's an extrovert that's, so out there and so kind of loud and proud, and they become quiet. You become quiet. Now you don't want to go out as much. You don't want to be around people as much. That may be their sign to say, I need some help. You may have somebody that's, quiet on a regular basis, but the thoughts that they're having are not good. They're not thinking positive. They're constantly thinking about the loss, constantly thinking about what's not good, what they no longer have, and not able to see what they do have, not able to see what is good in their life. And that may be a sign for them to go get help. If you see family members, if you see friends that you know have gone through something and they're not in a good space, maybe you try to reach out and you don't get any contact back, or when you see them they kind of, you can tell when somebody is not dealing well with the loss. And you can suggest, we all have friends, we all have people that we can talk to, but to have a space where you can connect with somebody that can direct you toward healing, direct you toward practices that will help in your healing, goes a little bit further than that. We need our friends, we need our family, we need all of them, but to have a professional involved is real. It's something that we sometimes need to call on. And I know sometimes in our communities, therapy is not looked on favorably.
Yeah.
I do realize that. And I encounter that on a regular basis. I've had people that I worked with say, we don't do crazy in my family. So I don't understand why, I'm here or why I should be here. And it's not about crazy. It's not about laying on the couch and having somebody standing over you, writing on a pad, diagnosing you and telling you what's wrong with you. It's not that. And I know a lot of people think that, and a lot of people come in and don't know what to expect. But I promise you, if you find the right therapist, and that is a thing, you do have to look for a good fit, because it's not necessarily, people will go in and they will find a therapist and it won't be a good fit and they give up on therapy. And it's not that therapy is not a good fit. It's just that the therapist might not have been a good fit. Maybe their practice, maybe what they were doing or what they were teaching or what they were helping you navigate life wasn't what you needed. So you keep going until you find that fit. And when you find that fit, therapy will definitely be something that you can grow with, that you can grow from. And the things that you take away from a good therapy session is immense. It is immense.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. It has definitely been a blessing for me with, having you to just be able to be open up to. And I've encouraged our children to also have that therapist that they can sit and talk with and really be open, because it's all a part of our healing journey, right? And I want to be healthy and I want them to be healthy with what they've experienced and what they're going to continue to experience through life. And do you think that you find a lot of people just aren't comfortable with being open about what they're going through?
I do. I do believe that a lot. And, you give the spiel that whatever you talk about is between me and you. And, you don't have to worry about it getting out there as long as I'm not concerned about you hurting yourself or hurting anybody else. What we speak about is between us. But it's still hard. And that's why good fit is important, because you have to be comfortable with the person. And I have
Right.
told people that I work with, when I get the impression that they're not being truthful, therapy doesn't help if you're not going to be honest. If you're not going to be honest, if you're not going to be truthful, if you're not going to share, it will not help. It's a place where you can be you. I have people that come in and say they say curse and they're like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. No, if that's who you are, that's who you are. If that's how you express yourself, that's how you express yourself. It's not, I'm not going to be offended. I want the true you. I
Authenticity.
want you.
Yes.
Yes, the authentic you. I want to know you, because that's when we can grow. That's when we can, really learn and really get some work done. And some people do find it difficult. A lot of people find it difficult. I call my couch the strong friend couch, because everybody that handles everybody else's problems are the ones that end up seeing me. And they're the people that are not used to seeking help, that are not used to getting
Mm,
help. So they're like, this feels, strange. I'm used to being the one that's helping. I'm used to being the one that's teaching. So this feels strange and it takes a little while, but they realize that while it feels strange, it feels good. It feels good to be supported. It feels good to have someone listening to them. It feels good to have someone helping them work things through and work things out.
Does. It absolutely does. I have to agree with that. So, your passion for empowering others is inspiring. For our listeners who want to learn more about your services at Grace for Today Counseling and Community Services, or want to connect with you, individually, because I know there's websites you can go through, I believe I did, to find you, but to just connect with you, what would you say the best way for them to find you?
Okay. I am on Psychology Today. I have my own website, which is gracefortodaycounseling.com. And it's just spelled out like it is, gracefortodaycounseling.com. You can reach me by email. My email is fsmalls, the number one, at gmail.com. And the number to my business, my practice is 336-53. Accept most major insurances, including TRICARE. I'm trying to think what else, what other information. I'm
Do we
do
need a physician order or anything to go with you?
not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
It is most insurances, mental health coverage is part of that. And you can contact me. I'll let you know if I'm in network, or you can go through their website and you can call the number on the back of your card and find out if I'm in network. And even if I'm not in network, I also do private pay and I also do slide and scale. I'm on, there is organization called Open Path that I believe is wonderful. It is for people that are either uninsured or underinsured, meaning they can't afford their deductible or they can't afford what that is. And it's a
Mhm.
website and it's just openpath.com, and it lets you find therapists, counselors that are willing to take clients on a sliding scale. I am on that website
Okay.
too. Absolutely. So if you don't have insurance and you still need, you're still in need of therapeutic services, definitely go to Open Path. And this is a plug for them because I think they're wonderful. They and they're all states everywhere. They have where you can go to them and find a therapist that's willing to work with you on a sliding scale basis. And I work on with certain clients on a sliding scale, and I also do pro bono. I take a certain amount of clients per month that I see for nothing because I believe that mental health is so important that everybody should have access to therapy.
Absolutely.
Everybody should have access. Money shouldn't be determined whether or not you get the help you need.
Wow, absolutely. And that is so powerful to know. So, to our listeners and viewers out there, you see there is help. She's giving you multiple websites. I'll make sure that I also list it under the video if you are watching on YouTube. And again, you can reach out to Miss Felicia in order to get her contact information for more information for your own help. My biggest suggestion to our viewers and listeners is seek it, because no matter what life happens, it happens, and you're going to need a way to work through it. And if not, if you don't get the professional help, we find ourselves leaning to the wrong direction to get that help and healing. And we'll start looking at something that's just going to draw us deeper and deeper into the worst path in life. Alicia, thank you so much for pouring so much wisdom, compassion, and truth into this conversation. You have blessed our audience today and offer tools that will help so many people on their healing journey, especially that breathing one and in that journaling and giving themselves grace you mentioned multiple times. And we thank you. Is there any final, like if you were to give a final word to all of the listeners and viewers out there that are going through something and ain't sure how to start finding peace through it, what would you be your biggest advice for anyone out there, even if it's they lost themselves or lost a home or a job? What would be the biggest advice before they turn to drugs or alcohol or, people who they can't trust?
My strongest piece of advice would be to have the belief in yourself that you can do this. You can do this. We can do hard things, and think back to things that you have overcome. We've all overcome something. We have all in our lives overcome something. Even adolescents and children, because some of the children that I have worked with are the most resilient people that I have ever met in life. But we've all overcome something. And if you can think back to a time when you thought that this thing was bigger than you and this thing was going to take you out and it did not, just know that this new thing is not going to take you out either. You'll be able to work through that. You will be able to become stronger on the other side of it. And it's the positive coping skills that are important. Unfortunately, we're going to cope one way or the other. We're going to cope. We just want to cope positively and not go to the negative coping skills. So that's why it's important to sometimes get help so you can learn the positive coping skills, because sometimes, drinking, sometimes just some things are not good for us. And that's what we lean to because we feel like this helps. Positive coping skills will help so much more. And I just want
Yeah.
people to understand that they can do it. When you are in your deepest despair, know you can do this. You can definitely do this. And one of my favorite Bible verses, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. That
Mm,
is the core of who I am. And you can do this. You can absolutely do this. And even if you don't believe it, say it. Say it on a daily basis. Say it when you're feeling down. Say it when you're feeling like you can't. I can do this. I can do all things. And keep saying it until you believe it, until you can see it, because you can. And that's, I guess, what my final thought is. I want everybody to believe that you can do this. You can absolutely do this, and you will do this.
wow, powerful, powerful, powerful. Thank you so much. And family, with that being said, this was very, very special. Oh, I'm so glad you were here. So, family, as always, if this episode spoke to your heart, please share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Remember to subscribe to the podcast, follow us on YouTube, and join our community at unstoppablewithdrpaulettescott.com. And as always, remember, there's no matter what you're facing, no matter what tried to break you, you are loved, you are growing, and you are unstoppable. I'll see you next time. Have a blessed day. If you were empowered by today's episode of Unstoppable, please become a subscriber on our YouTube channel and also click the notification button. That way you are notified the next podcast drops. Also, please visit us on our website at www.unstoppablewithdrpaulettescott.com. On our website, you will see upcoming guest speakers. Remember, you can also catch our audio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and all the other major audio platforms. Thank you for joining Unstoppable with Dr. Paulette Scott. Until next time, stay blessed and stay prayed up on purpose.